All right, so we are going to be looking at my UDLs for week 10 and week 12. So this is week 10, and we're talking about the types of assessments that are used in the host classroom. So obviously you've read this, so you know what I talked about. So the biggest thing is that the teacher that I was observing, she does use conversations to kind of test like the knowledge of of the students on like certain topics and lessons that she's going to go over. But like the biggest thing that she does is she usually has tests and quizzes at the end of lessons to see how much they learned. Most of their tests and quizzes are open book, especially for like reading. For like their reading, so if they had to read a story and then answer questions on it, they have the ability to look at their books that they were reading from if they really want to. But a lot of the students forget to do so, so she uses it more so like, oh, if you're responsible enough to remember this, then you can. Or if one student remembers and it has it out and makes like a big deal about it, then she's like, oh guys, remember, you guys can use this. So that's what she typically does for that. And then I talked about that in my own classroom. I would like to use the charts about what you know, what you want to know, and then what you learned. I just think that it's a good way for not only me, but also my students to keep track of what they knew at the beginning and how much they've grown throughout that lesson. And then the other UDL we're looking at is week 12. This is a s'more I made. I don't have the regular one, so I have the PDF up. So this is talking about the technology that is used in the classroom. So one of the biggest things that I noticed in my host classroom is smart boards. She has a smart board in the beginning of the year, or in the front of the classroom, and the students really enjoy it because if, let's say, she has them go change their dojo points on the board, they get to stand up, walk up, and like physically tap on the board and tap to give themselves points. So it's like a nice little reward for them. And then they also have their own Chromebooks that the school gives to them for them to use, which is so important because it lets them do so many more assignments that are online because a lot of them aren't able to do them at home. So like those assignments that are online are only done in class. The teacher never asks them to do it at home, which I think is so important and really respectful of her. They do have whiteboards. They don't use them as often. They have like little individual ones. She just usually uses them for the students to review their spelling words. She'll say like, oh, here's the definition of a word. Now write down what word it is and make sure you spell it correctly. So the students write it down, they hide their answers from each other, and then they all raise it up in the air whenever the teacher asks them to. And then when they're on their Chromebooks, they usually use Google Drive and Google Classroom to do their assignments, and they really, really know how to use it. Like, they know how to use Google Drive better than some college students I know, and I think that's really impressive because they help each other if one of them doesn't use it, and it's really cool to watch. So yeah, thank you for listening to my UDL review.